Austin? Austin!
What's happened? Has it gone?
See for yourself.
But it's still there. The cottage hospital.
The former cottage workhouse.
Where you spent those unhappy childhood years.
Since dawn came creeping over the grim hills and cringing rooftops, I've not lifted my eyes from that building. Why is it still standing?
Perhaps George never got that far. Perhaps he exploded on the way.
Oh, he's there, all right. Macduff phoned me the moment George walked in and told him I was paying for the treatment. You know Macduff and his natural Scottish caution, he wanted to check before he opened a new jar of leeches.
Frankly, Father, I'm baffled. We know SPD explodes if it's hot and wet. It's inside George, which must be hot and wet, therefore up goes the SPD. George should be RIP, QED. Unless that particular batch of SPD is NBG.
I want facts, not guesswork. I've told Macduff to take X-rays. Meanwhile, you can get down to the lab, get that so-called genius Oppenheimer out of bed. Tell him I want some answers.
If Oppenheimer can't tell us, no one can. He's the best in the world.
I'm not sure that Oppenheimer's the brilliant scientist he's cracked up to be. If he's so clever, why has he not mended that electric kettle I sent down there last Sunday?
Where's thy breakfast, Mother?
Nay, I can neither taste water nor pass bread till the brother Matt comes safe home. I'm that worried about him.
He's not gone to watch United, has he?
Nay, when he left this house, he had a gun in his hand.
Gun?
Aye, that gun you took from young Scargill to keep him from shooting Bradley Hardacre when strike were on, as you know. Aye, well, now the brother Matt's took it into his head to do the same job.
Kill Hardacre, but why?
Nay, Jack, promise me one thing. If thou loves thy mother, never ask me that. Ask me anything else thou wants, but that thou mun never ask me.
Aye, righto.
Well, I know how that question must gnaw at the vitals, burning inside of thee. But I plead with thee again, Jack, never ask me.
Fair enough, ma'am. But, Mother, I'm unwarned thee, our Matt stands between me and that which I want most in the world. Charlotte Hardacre. Don't you see, Mum, he stands between me and the sun that shines out of her.
Shines out of her what?
Nay, Mother. That thou will never ask me.
Oh, Matt! Matt! Come home! Matt! Oh, Matt! Are they after thee?
Oh.
That means that's not done it then.
Done what, ma'am?
Killed Bradley Hardacre.
Oh, then he'd never be afeard, Mother. I cannot kill Bradley Hardacre. Nay, I've done him wrong enough already.
You've done him wrong? Whatever dost thou mean?
Nay, Mother. That's one question thou will never ask me. Ask me anything else thou likes. But never ask me that.
Well, Joe, what have you got to report?
Now, Mr. Hardacre.
What about the chip shop? Anyone been buying double portions? Anyone been buying pickled onions, not counting weddings?
No. This lard bottle has had mushy peas 3 times this week.
I see, by God.
Well, there is a reason for that. You see, his wife's gone over to Rottenstall to bury her father.
So?
So she took family dentures with her. There was talk of a boiled ham send-off, see?
Well, nothing unusual there, then. Anything else? Anyone been standing drinks in the Jolly Cripple?
No. You see, it'd help me, Mr. Hardacre, if I knew what you was looking for.
Any kind of unusual behaviour. Big spending. Anyone been flashing their money around at the cobblers, for instance?
No.
Well, carry on, Job. Keep your eyes peeled.
Right. You know me, Mr. Hardacre. Oh, by the way, I hope you don't mind me asking, only you've knocked around world a lot, see, and I haven't. And I was just wondering, is this real money?
Deutschmarks. How'd you come by this?
Well, I got it off that chap as was hanging around munition works, asking how George is getting on and whether out's gone wrong with SPD programme.
I won't be put off, Mummy. I want to know what my friend was doing under your bed last night.
Oh, Morris, this is so distressingly like your great-uncle Pitcairn. You remember, the one who had to be locked away. It was exactly like this. First the sleepwalking, then the hallucinations.
Was he the one who had to be given the electric shock treatment?
There was no electricity in his day, darling. The doctors did the best they could with gas.
Are you saying that I imagined what I saw last night?
What you thought you saw, darling.
But that's awful. Perhaps I am going out of my mind. yet in a strange, perverse way, Mummy, you've set my mind at rest.
Aye, some interesting things show up in these X-rays, Hardacre. For instance, these two tiny nodules here.
Well, they are small, aren't they?
No, not these. These, higher up in the intestine, look like sugar lumps. Can't be sugar, of course, that have melted long since.
Perhaps it's time I was frank with you, Doctor. My boffins in the lab have stumbled upon a process that takes us a mighty stride towards the everlasting or permanent sugar lump. Now, just imagine, Doctor, one such lump and a piece of string, and every household in the land will have its sweetening needs satisfied for a millennium. Of course, it'll mean disaster in the plantations and spell ruin for our dusky brethren across the seas. So you understand why those lumps must not fall into the wrong hands. At least until I've divested myself of certain Caribbean investments.
Well, it'd be a simple operation. 5 minutes with a knife, a little twiddle with a fork. I could put these lumps into your hand.
I can't afford an operation for him, Doctor. Don't suppose you medicos ever ply a scalpel for nothing, do you?
Certainly not. That would be a clear breach of medical ethics.
Father.
Excuse me, Doctor.
A great shame. Be an interesting operation, though. Go in through the abdominal wall, swerve to avoid the pancreas, snip my way delicately round the, what is it? Thingamajig. Oh, well, it's probably no use to him anyway.
Oppenheimer's been working on it all morning. Pages of equations, but what it adds up to is this. There's no way George is going to explode.
What?
Oppenheimer says SPD goes critical at 113 degrees, Father. The human body temperature is 98.4.
So that means...
We're in the clear. We can forget George.
No. Doctor, I've been thinking. As a humanitarian and a philanthropist, I'm quite prepared to stand the cost of that operation you mentioned.
Oh, that's capital.
Well, no expenditure, as a matter of fact, but carry on.
I'm especially pleased because there might be an article for The Lancet in this. Fairchild seems to have made a habit of swallowing curious odds and ends, to say nothing of the money.
Money?
Aye, a sixpenny piece of threepenny bit and 2 ships' halfpennies.
Making 10pence in all.
That's what sets you apart, Father. You sum things up in a flash.
Well, bear in mind, Doctor, that money falls to me to defray expenses.
Oh, I'm afraid not, Hardacre. The Royal College of Surgeons has a golden rule. I won't give you the Latin, but in English it means finders, keepers.
Oh, I'm so relieved. It's been like a nightmare. I really thought that my special precious friend and my special precious mummy were... How can I put this? At it like knives.
Well, now you know better, Morris.
Yes. the truly terrible thing. Oh,
What's that you've got?
it's a poem.
Oh, don't read it. Give it to me.
Oh, I shall read it. And you shall hear it. Under the heavy bedspread knee and patience twine us hands. A beauteous lady, fair is she, what showed me promised lands.
Oh, yes. I copied it from a book. Longfellow, as I remember.
Don't lie to me. It's unmistakable Matthew Fairchild. And in his very latest style. Oh, it's powerful, technically, I grant to. But he does seem to have lost a certain naive quality that made his early work attractive.
Don't be brittle, Morris. It doesn't become you.
Oh, but how well it becomes you! All the time you were lying to me. What a blind fool I've been. You don't really want him. What do you... It's just a plaything.
No, Morris, no. No more lying. Oh, can't you see? Oh, why won't you understand? I love him. Love.
You don't know the meaning of the word.
Possibly not. But the love I speak of is at least a variety that dares to speak its name.
Et tu, mater.
Oh, Morris. Can't you see? He's the first clean, unsoiled thing that's come into my world for 20 years. He's everything you say. He's clean and decent and fine and willing. I tell you, Morris, when he climbed in through that window with a weapon in his hand...
Did what?
It's there on the dressing table.
Gun? But why?
For a mixture of the usual reasons he came to shoot your father.
You're lying to me. And you're laughing at me. Well, you've laughed at me for the last time. be a fool, Morris. I can't. Whatever else you are my mother.
You're my baby boy. Now give me that gun.
No! I'll do away with myself. But not here. Not in this sordid chamber of deceit. Oh, don't worry, Mother. I shan't bespatter your crepe de chine. I shall find somewhere apt and tranquil and beautiful and right. I shall wear my mauve, I think. No, my white. Oh, person. Anyway, this is goodbye.
Morris! Wake up. It's time for your sleeping draft. You!
I knew I might find you here, healing the sick. Oh, Charlotte, my angel.
It's no use, Matthew.
But won't you at least let me try to explain? You don't even know what I was doing in your mother's bed.
Oh, yes, I do. I went to Dr. Macduff and I said, Dr. Macduff, are there certain things a young girl ought to know?
And are there?
You know there are. Dr. Macduff explained everything. He used up 2.5 sticks of chalk and had to clean the blackboard twice. Once with a damp rag.
So, we both learned something and both lost something.
Yes, Matthew. Lost before we even knew to call it innocence. Yesterday we were children. Today we are consenting adults.
You mean you will?
No, Matthew, I mean it's all over between us. Can never be.
But Charlotte!
Don't touch me!
Miss Charlotte! Why, you're crying. What's he done to you if he's harmed a hair on
I'm Charlotte.
me? I could never harm a single gossamer thread on her. Don't come spouting your poetry to me, little brother. You're not fit to stick a maggot on her hook.
You think I don't know that?
Don't come over all noble. I really hate it when you go noble.
Oh, please! You mustn't. Don't fight over me.
I shan't fight. I'll not raise a fist against my own brother.
Fight! Fight, damn you! Or take it like a coward.
You mustn't hurt him. He's a writer. He's not to be opposed in any way.
What is all this brawling and divoting in my hospital? Hey, did he do this to you? You say the word, I'll call the police.
No, Doctor, no. It's just I get these nosebleeds. I warned you about being noble. I can't abide it. Oh! Don't think you love him, Doctor. That was just Jack's way of saying he's sorry.
Father, if we're going to spend money on anesthetics, that's as far as we need to go. George need never wake up again.
What are you suggesting, Austin? That I connive at the heartless extermination of a loyal, obedient and devoted employee?
Yes, Father.
I like it so far. Then what?
Why, we simply bury the problem along with George.
You never heard of body snatchers, Austin?
Got it. Same plan, but we have George cremated.
With the SPD inside him? Austin, Austin. Is this cottage hospital I want to see blown to kingdom come? I've nothing against the crematorium.
Ah.
I know you from somewhere. Wait a minute, weren't you in this place same time as I was? When it used to be the old cottage workhouse? Sicklegruber, isn't it?
No, that'll be my brother you're thinking of. He was orphan in our family.
Whatever happened to him?
He emigrated, went abroad like.
Well, I'll let you get on.
Aye. Righto, thank you, sir.
Now then, George, what you doing out of bed?
Oh, hello, Mr. Harrick. I'm looking for my clothes. If I could just find my trousers, I'll tell you, I'd be out of here in quick
Out of here? You're in the only private ward in Utterly and you're whinging to go home? There's lots of folks in this town who'd give their right arms for an operation.
Operation? What operation is that, Mr. Harrick?
Well, any operation you like, George. You're a private patient. You're at the head of the queue, so while you're under, if there's anything you'd like the doctor to have a look at, be my guest. I'm footing the bill.
Father, you're giving the man a blank check.
Quiet, Austin. There's something bothering me about that fella. I've never seen a house painter wearing jack boots before. See him off, Austin. Like I was saying, George, if there's anything you want attending to, or even improving, I dare say we could find a donor.
Well, since you ask, I don't know quite how to say this, but It's never functioned quite right.
No, I think I know what you're going to say, George.
I never knew there was out different about me till I was at Works football team, and they used to laugh at me at Bath. When I say at Bath, of course, that was when we was playing away. Well, you have a look for yourself. Now, that's not quite right, is it? Now, that knee is as straight as I can get it.
Good news, Hardacre. We may be able to spare the knife. I was up at the hall treating your head gardener for his blossom end rot, and look what he had in his shed. A fine old stomach pump made by Camel Laird of Birkenhead.
Oh, aye, that'll do the job. Why didn't I think of that? I've seen naught to match it for shifting dead moles out of gutters.
I'll show Mummy. I'll show them all. Oh, they'll be sorry when they see me lying here in my damask hat, my chenille waistcoat and my finest Florentine flannel bags. They'll realize I had no choice. Or should it have been the cashmere and the tweeds? No, not the tweeds. One cannot contemplate eternity with itchy legs. When Albert, you realize what this means? Yes, Hesketh. This is goodbye.
My God, the man is a human ostrich. Will you look at this? A souvenir from Blackpool in the shape of the famous tower.
Why, that were a present years ago. It's a lucky charm.
What is this? I do believe it's a wee claw.
Why, that's our Jack's first baby clog. I always thought rats had got it.
Don't get sentimental, Agnes. Is there any sign of that money turning up here?
It's all coming out now, Mr. Hardacre. But what's this? A Queen Victoria Silver Jubilee teaspoon.
That's mine. That went missing from the Hall on Armistice night. Get that tube out of him. So, Arthur Holmroyd was innocent after all. They gave him 7 years for stealing it. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Why do you swallow these things, George? What for?
I don't know. I just get this impulse. I can't stop myself.
Could it be a cry for help? A plea for love?
Maybe, Doctor. You see, Mother, anything that I've ever seen you lavish attention on, I've had the urge to swallow it. Do you remember that tortoise you brought back from the fair? Well, I used to watch you crooning over it and polishing its shell. And all the time I was fighting back this urge to snatch it from you and cram it down. Well, did you never wonder why I kept on asking you for crusty pies?
George, you didn't. Not a tortoise.
No, not in 10, no. I was quite glad, really, when it was run over by that tram.
That tram. When Jack saw other children flattening pennies and him with no money in his pocket, well, I hadn't the heart to punish him.
You're wrong about that so-called painter, Father. He was no more a painter than I am.
I thought so, a snooper.
Not exactly. I pinned him against the wall and throttled it out of him. In the end, he came clean.
Did he say who he was working for?
Yes. The News Chronicle.
The News Chronicle. I suppose he told you he was Lobby Lud.
He was Lobby Lud, Father. Look, I even got the £5 for spotting him.
You fool, Austin. These are Deutschmarks. Again.
You mean this is foreign money? You think you could trust the News Chronicle, a so-called liberal newspaper?
Doctor! I want my 2 lumps of SBD out of that man, and I want them now.
So, that is what he swallowed.
Doctor, I've been less than frank with you. But it's top secret. The fate of nations is at stake.
Oh, very well. But since the stomach pump has failed, it'll have to be surgery. Nurse, prepare the theatre. I shall operate it. What the... Oh, fair child.
That sounded like a shot. It seemed to come from the old summer house. Morris, what have you done?
Done? I'll tell you what I've done. I've killed everything that was a child in me. Everything innocent and credulous. Oh, you see me sitting here, moving, talking, wearing my damask hat, my chenille waistcoat, and my finest Florentine flannel bags, but that means nothing. Nothing! Inside, I tell you, I'm dead. As dead as poor dear Erskine. Oh, poor Erskine. But he had been asking for it.
I'll take this and put it somewhere safe. Don't think I don't know how you feel, Morris, because I do. There are times when I could turn this on myself, but that's the coward's way.
That's just what Erskine said. He taunted me.
Is it because of that pale young Fairchild boy?
Had something to do with it. Yes.
How uncanny. You know, I suppose you don't. I have lost my heart to his elder brother.
No. Didn't know.
Yes. And there's no reason why you should care. But the fact is, he's the first man I've ever wanted who doesn't want me.
What? The frightfully butch fellow? You don't mean he's...
No, I don't, Morris. Quite the reverse.
That's what I meant.
Perhaps I could have gone on being happy if I'd never known the sweet, warm fire of his tenderness, the dark, urgent strength of his rough manhood.
It was his hands I noticed first.
Yes, strength. He was the only man who ever made me feel weak.
The hands of a poet. Beautiful hands.
And if I can't have him, then the rest of the male sex shall suffer for it.
I'll go back to Cambridge. But even there, even with my chums, Kim and Guy and Donald, I suppose every man's hand will be against me.
Yes, damn them! I shall take on the whole male sex and make them pay.
You mean you're going on the game?
Oh, Morris, you haven't been listening, have you?
I'm not having him take a knife to me, George.
As a private patient, you'll get the anaesthetic.
I don't want to give offence, Mr. Hardacre, so if you don't mind, I'll just be going off home. I'm not well enough to have an operation.
George, it is your duty as an Englishman and a patriot to do as you're told. Doing one's duty should be pleasure and reward enough. But, you know, I'm not the man to make a promise lightly. Go through with this, and there's a decoration in it for you.
Decoration? What sort of decoration, Mr. Hardacre?
2 coats right through the house in your own choice of colours. Catterick sand or battleship grey. You'll be the talk of the wash house.
George, have the operation.
But it's late.
You'll only feel a little prick. Next thing you know, it'll all be over. Millions of women put up with it all the time.
Nurse, have you seen part 7 of The Wonderful World of Surgery anywhere? It's very good. Builds up into a complete encyclopedia.
Oh, you're wasting time, Father. Look, you and I pin him down and let the quacks start carving.
I think I've fetched something up. Is that what you're after, Mr. Hardacre?
That's one of them. If you're set on saving your skin, carry on bouncing.
Oh.
You're right, Father. What is it?
It's a new concept in weaponry, Austin. Combine 2 elements. SBD, the silent but deadly explosive, and the principle of the reverberating bed spring. What do you get?
I think I've fetched the one up. Can I stop bouncing now?
Yes, Austin. The bouncing bomb. You can tell that fella down at the lab, what's his name, Barnes Wallace, to pick up his cards. We don't need him anymore.
Right, Father.
And by the way, that knicker elastic he's been using, that's ours.